Hey guys, welcome to February 2023. We are in the midst of a 3-month window period right now where we have all planets direct, and this is really about forward movement, forward momentum, acceleration in a new direction. This energy is also helping us to release and let go of, especially as we head towards Pisces season, the season of release, the season of surrender, to release and let go of the old version of ourselves, our old ego identity, our old attachments to things that were keeping us from going through this phase of personal rediscovery and personal growth that 2023 really has a lot to do with. And this month of February, moving into this Pisces cycle, is giving us more of this energy. We actually, throughout the course of this month, have a lot of personal planets, the inner planets, the energy that affects us like very close to home, okay, that we have a tendency of feeling more so in our day-to-day lives and experiences, coming into a lot of exact alignments with the outer planets that rule the more collective energies. And so actually throughout the course of this Pisces cycle, the archetypal themes of a lot of the outer planets I feel like are going to be very, very relevant in our personal experiences. First of all, we start the month with a very strong Uranian influence. This is going to bring up a lot of sudden change, things happening unexpectedly, but also helping things to sort of realign in a way that is going to end up working out better for whatever we are working towards at this point in time. Uranus is how we enter the month of February, the strongest influence. Moving through the first week of February, we start heading into a very strong Pluto dominant energy. This is likely to have us going through a bit of a transformation, regeneration, maybe some deep healing coming up. Moving on through the month of February, after that, we are going to come into a very strong simultaneous Neptune Saturn influence. This is going to do a couple of things. For one, it's likely to create some very polarized energy. We may feel sort of a bit pulled in multiple directions, but it's also providing a very strong window for manifestation that we have coming at us, an opening for us to sort of step through as we go through this month. Then we also have some very strong Mars energy that is sort of fueling and motivating things as we get towards the end of the month. And then we conclude this month with a huge emphasis going on actually on Venus, Jupiter, and Chiron in conjunction. This is actually a really big deal to me in the sign of Aries. Venus and Chiron both have to do with wealth, value, finances. Jupiter expands everything. The sign of Aries, this is about action happening. This is about newness. This is about things accelerating and taking off as well. Relationships, finances, value, resources, money, wealth. Like, there is likely to be some type of healing that is going on in terms of these things as we get to the end of the month. A heart healing, personal worth, self-worth healing, internalized value, self-love healing in some very profound ways. And this could relate back to some childhood traumas. We also have, of course, a full moon in Leo going on this month, which is going to be activating the black moon in Leo energy. Again, this could be bringing up themes of like childhood wounding, childhood trauma could be coming to the surface throughout the course of this Pisces cycle and this month of February to be finally released and healed. Majorly healing force that is coming through, especially like I said, as we get to the end of the month and begin to head into March. March 2023, you guys, is absolutely huge. We have Pluto moving into Aquarius in the month of March as well, among other things that are pending for us. And March, and then of course we'll have our new moon in Aries that we're going to be moving into around that time as well. So, we are moving into some very big energy come the month of March, heading into our Aries cycle. But as we are closing out this natural new year, as we are entering the 12th sign of the zodiac in terms of the new moon energy and just the general energy that is present, I do feel like this is a cycle of endings and beginnings in some big ways. We've been in this energy throughout the, closing out 2022, moving into 2023, but we are definitely thick in this energy in the month of February, very much as well. Moving forward through this report, I'm going to do sort of a week by week breakdown, tell you guys the major aspects that are happening according to each week of the month of February, and sort of like a summary of what that energy might be like for us, put together, sort of translated, I guess we could say. And then I'll sort of just do like my summary of the whole month overall and how I think it's going based on the aspects that seem to be presenting themselves for our month of February 2023. So all of that being said, you guys, let's start at the top. Let's start with this first week of February, where I said Uranus is the primary influence that we have going on. This first week of February is very dynamic. It's very significant. There's likely to be some big, important things happening that cause important changes to happen this first week of February. That's because we have the sun coming into a square with Uranus in fixed signs. That is, it's actually going to be a 2-day activation, because the alignment, the exact alignment is going to happen, and then Uranus is going to change degrees. Uranus takes a very long time to change degrees. Uranus has been retrograde, and this is going to be Uranus actually moving forward finally since having stationed direct. So this is going to be packing a very powerful punch in terms of the Uranus energy that is coming in this first week of February. Likely to be a week that is not in alignment with just our normal routines, our normal flows of things. Probably find ourselves in some maybe like unexpected situations, and it's just indicating some big changes that are likely to be showing up for us, but it's going to be happening most likely along the lines of partnerships, relationships, finances, like our loyalties, our commitments, resources, supply chains, like projects, creative projects, things that we're working on, work partnerships, dynamics, relationships, things that we're building as well. Because Uranus is in Taurus right now. Uranus is obviously ruling the sign of Aquarius, where the sun is right now. So this is the type of stuff, like whatever we got to keep in mind though, whatever is happening, whatever resistances, whatever changes are coming with this sun square Uranus, it is to put things back in a better alignment so that they can unfold and grow, right? The sign of Taurus, in a way that is like authentic and real and true, and is capitalizing on real potential. Uranus is, or Aquarius is, a sign about future potential, about like destiny, about like the end game, the what something is meant to be and become. And so when we have these shakeups happening, you know, Uranus is the great rectifier. Uranus always puts things right. Uranus is silver lining planet, brings blessings in disguise. It's like could be really disrupting a comfort zone, but it's for the purpose of rearranging things or resetting things in a way that is going to lead to a path of more like authentic and just better, more organic growth that is promoting the potential of whatever it is that universe is calling to grow and to come into fruition, to come to life in this energy right now. This is a very electrified energy and vibration. And it's just the whole vibe pretty much this first week of February that we are dealing with. The exact activations of this are going to be happening on the 3rd and on the 4th. On the 4th, we're also going to be moving into some black moon energy. This is black moon and Leo energy. I'm not going to get into the whole thing about the black moon and Leo right now in this video, but I've talked about it in some of my previous videos when the black moon entered the sign of Leo, and we will talk about it again when the moon enters Leo and starts activating the black moon as we are moving into this Uranus Sun square energy. But that's also going to be another facet of this. So it really could be triggering and activating some deep-seated fears, some deep-seated insecurities, or just some deep-seated like psychological issues about, you know, how essentially we prevent ourselves from being able to shine or to feel truly happy or truly fulfilled or truly joyful in our experience, like what we feel like is interfering with that. This can also bring in a lot of different things about like personal power, personal uniqueness, and where we surrender personal power to gain recognition or just glorification or admiration. What we sacrifice in order to gain more like surface level dimensions of like love and appreciation and stuff like that when we're dealing with the black moon Leo. Like I said, I will get much more into this when we are in the energy of those specific days, but we do have that going on in alignment with the the sun square Uranus energy. And you guys, we also have our full moon in Aquarius that is happening the first week of February as well. So it's this very powerful week. Of course, full moons, this is heightened energy levels. Also, the full moon is going to be happening in almost an exact square to Uranus. So we've got the sun, because the full moon is going to be happening on the 5th. So we've got 2 days of exact sun square Uranus, because Uranus is also moving forward a degree, finally really emphasizing the Uranus energy even more. And then we move into this full moon energy where the sun and the moon are going to line up in Aquarius and Leo, 17 degrees, with Uranus at 16 degrees of Taurus. So we'll have that. This is huge. I mean, so this whole week, this whole first week of February is just all about this universal rearranging going on and not really caring all that much about how we feel about it. We really need to exercise some just like our ability to trust and surrender and know that things are working in our interest at this point in time, despite what we may be seeing on the surface this first week of February. So abrupt changes in partnership and financial dynamics, I feel like that's where we will be likely to see this the most. This is also a non-committal energy, wild card energy, upsets the comfort zone and the status quo, and where our own fears of inadequacy or internal like inability to shine and show ourselves in one way or another are really interfering with our creativity and our ability to experience like true and genuine love. Again, this could also be bringing up these issues or these like inner child wounds and stuff like that. Leo also ruling childhood, being a sign that has very much associated with childhood. It's also the sign of romance, you guys. So we have that going on as well. And aside from that, aside from all this Uranus energy, this first week of February, we also have quite a splash of Venus, Mars, and square energy going on as well, as they will also be coming into exact aspect this first week of February. So we're going to have the sun and square to Uranus, and then we're also going to have Venus and square to Mars. And this again is just really shining this emphasis on relationship dynamics and showing us in some pretty significant ways perhaps the underlying issues in our relationships and how perhaps they're keeping us from really feeling truly authentically loved or seen or something along those lines. So that's the type of stuff, you guys, that could be coming up this first week of February. Moving into the second week of February, this is where Pluto really starts to take the prominence, because we're going to, and we're sort of building into an exact Mercury Pluto conjunction as we move through the second week of February. Now, there's not like a whole bunch of exact activations going on the second week. We're saving that for the third week. The first week and the third week of February are really where all the business is kind of playing out this week. But the second week of February, we are building into this Mercury Pluto conjunction, which of course, I mean, first of all, this can be like obsessive compulsive, like thinking about stuff, or like obsessively like trying to figure something out. This is like finding the answers, getting to the root of the problem, like solving the mystery. That's what we're doing. And it's kind of in a very driven way. You know, we're very much likely to be focused on something intently. This can also bring up very powerful encounters, interactions, conversations, meetings that can have a very profound, like transformative effect on us. This is also Mercury and Pluto, like mental transformations, like mental regeneration, like some type of like learning something or interacting somehow, or just something that goes on that radically, it can also be healing, like heals our mind, heals our psyche, or causes us to go through some type of mental transformation in some type of like more significant way. So Pluto is the vibe. I mean, Mercury, it's just our mind. And it's not only our mind, it's also like the conversations that we're having, what we're doing, who we're interacting with. It's like back and forth travel. It's us being in traffic. Like it's the transactions. It's the business negotiations and stuff like that that's going on right now. And, you know, Mars is also in the sign of Gemini right now. And so whatever's going on with Mercury is kind of like a little bit like supercharged by this Mars energy. We also have the end of the month, Mercury actually building into a trine with Mars. So we're going to be dealing with that as well. Very highly energized mental energy. If there's like problems and stuff that need to be solved, or some real work that needs to be done, or some real like mind power that needs to be put into something, or even like hands, like just the end of the month is really going to be very facilitating for us getting some productive things done or having some productive conversations. But moving into the second week, you know, we may just be really discovering something or learning something that has a powerful effect on us in one way or another. Moving into the third week of February, this is another really big week. This is the week, you guys, first of all, very, very powerful manifestation energy, like very, very, very supported energy for being able to gain a divine inspiration, to really like align intuitively with what we truly desire in our heart, in our mind's eye, and actually do that in such a way that we are able to translate it into physical material reality. One of the best ways that we can possibly use the energy week 3 of February is to work towards making our goals, or work towards making our dreams rather, into reality. That is what this week is supporting us doing. However, it's also a very, very polarized energy. Week 3, we're talking about an exact Venus-Neptune alignment conjunction, followed immediately by an exact Sun-Saturn conjunction in alignment. And the planet Neptune and the planet Saturn are on two totally different ends of the spectrum. Saturn is basically the inversion of the Neptune energy. Saturn forms, Saturn structures, Saturn controls, Saturn is boundary, Saturn lays foundations. It brings things into tangible, 3D, physical, manifested world stuff, okay? Neptune erodes things. It dissolves things. It releases things. There's no boundaries with Neptune. It's dreamy. It's like fantasy. It's illusion. Saturn is hard facts. It's logic. It is what it is, and it is what I can see right in front of my face. Neptune is the spiritual world and the invisible realms. And when we're talking about Venus, our heart, okay, what we want, what we desire, exalted in Pisces as it is, and coming into a conjunction with Neptune, you guys, like, this is the absolute ultimate in like high heart energy and compassion and empathy and like all the goodness and artistry and beauty and just like the epitome of like the dreamy, fantastical, idealistic, romantic, feminine energy, okay? What we want is like highly romantic, highly idealized, but also like extremely like divinely inspired. Fantastic day. You guys, artists, creative people out there, this week 3 of the month of February, like, use it, because you could really, really create some amazing works of art or artistry in whatever form capacity during this period of time. But simultaneously, you know, to have ongoing at the same time, the sun's also annual conjunction to Saturn. This is cold, hard logic and facts. This is really getting some work done, but this is a more isolated energy. This is a more like hermit energy. This is a very like focused, hard work, concentration, like no time for dreaming, no time for fantasizing, like very much like logic, fact, no time for getting caught in a fantasy land. Like, we need to focus on things as they are in the moment and work towards their success and completion. This is a really great, the sun conjoining Saturn though, like, this is a really good time to work on some things and put energy towards goals, sort of like without distractions, that can lead to some type of significant accomplishment or like long-term success. This is excellent energy for putting towards work, basically, like working on something, especially in this 2023 year that has a lot to do with our process of self-improvement and personal growth in alignment with our authentic truths, and like what really like makes us feel alive in this black moon energy, and also this Aquarius season, this Leo full moon cycle. Like, what makes us feel alive, what lights us up inside, what brings us back to life, what like makes our heart sing, you know what I mean? And that is what we're focusing on. That is where the narrow-minded vision is going towards. Like, that is what we are putting our energy into. And like I said, if we're using this energy properly, it's excellent, excellent. It's both of the simultaneous tools that we need working together in order to really like manifest dreams into reality, like Venus, Neptune, Sun, Saturn, definite recipe for that. So we are getting a universal, some universal assistance in really like moving towards this new phase of growth that we're going towards, and like making something happen and seeing some results for something, or like being in a place where we can actually start executing in a way that we know is going to lead to some results for us in one way or another. But the other way that this energy can go is sort of avoiding and wanting to hide from the responsibility aspect of things by getting like just taking it to the Neptune Venus energy too much, and just really getting caught in like this romanticized fantasy world that we're sort of riding out and wanting to totally like avoid reality. Whereas on the other hand, this Saturn Sun energy is totally avoidant and neglectful of anything that is remotely associated with a fantasy land, or with an illusion, or with a daydream, or with, an ideal of something, because it's not lining up with the actual factual reality in front of me. We're dealing with the sun in the context of Saturn as well in the sign of Aquarius. So polarized energy, we could feel sort of pulled in a couple different directions. On one hand, we may want to find ourselves just like getting caught in some type of like fantasy movie that like makes us feel inspired and connected in some type of way. But on the other hand, there may be some things that we really need to get done. And so it could be this like push and pull energy. We also have the sun moving into the sign of Pisces, I believe, as well, the third week. And we also have our new moon in the sign of Pisces happening the third week as well. On the 15th, the February 15th, that's when we have the exact Venus Neptune conjunction. The 16th, that's when we have the exact Sun Saturn conjunction. And then on the 19th, the sun enters the sign of Pisces. And then on the 20th, we have our new moon in Pisces, and Venus simultaneously enters the sign of Aries. Now, remember, we do have Mars in Gemini currently, so energy has been quite polarized. And this is another week where we may just feel or perceive some pretty drastic like splits in the way that people are behaving and interacting with themselves and interacting with the energy that's incoming right now. But again, this is an excellent window if we are able to merge these two energies, to take those fantasies and to take those daydreams and to bring them down to earth and practically work on them in a way that can translate that daydream fantasy ideal energy into this is my actual life and experience that I am building now. It's that energy, if you build it, they will come. You know what I mean? Like that's what this energy makes me think of with the Neptune, Venus, and Sun Saturn conjunctions. And it's also interesting if you think about it, because Saturn is a ruler of Aquarius, right? Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, right? So we've got the sun in Aquarius aligning with the ruler of Aquarius. We've got Venus in Pisces aligning with the ruler of Pisces. So it's just very strong how this energy is playing out. It'll be interesting to see how this juxtaposes and plays out, but it is an excellent week for making things happen that are in alignment with the our higher selves, essentially, and the creative potential associated with that. So, significant week this third week of February as well. Divinely inspired, working towards our goals, dreams into reality, focus on status and achievement, and it could also be a bit of a more detached energy moving throughout this week. Now, moving into this fourth week, the last week of February, we get an emphasis back on the planet Mars. I said in the beginning we were going to have Mercury and Mars coming into a trine at the end of the month. On the 22nd of February, Mercury and Mars will come into an exact trine. Mercury will be in the sign of Aquarius. Mercury, of course, is ruling the position of Mars right now in Gemini. This is an air sign trine. This is likely to be very high speed, fast-paced, like busy week, the days surrounding this day, a lot coming out of our mouth. We're going to kind of want to make sure that we are thinking before we're speaking or thinking before we're acting, because this can be kind of energy where we just are like rushing ahead and something's coming out of our mouth before we even get a chance to think about it. So we want to make sure that we're not allowing ourselves to be sort of like a loose cannon in the energy, the way that it's playing out the 4th week of February. But that is going to be exhilarating, okay? We're likely to just people are just going to be very conversational, really talking about what's on their mind, what they're thinking about, options, choices, decisions, what they're going to do, what their plans are. This is also could be fights, conflicts. This could also be like rage, okay? This like unbridled rage sort of, especially like with words, with languages, could be like verbal fights, spats, arguments, debates, that type of stuff. But this is also like a lot of hot air. We recently had a Sun-Mars trine that happened in these air signs as well, but now we have Mercury coming there ruling Mars. This could also be like things that we're learning, or very passionate, very inspired, fighting words, not backing down, standing our ground, putting our foot down, standing up for ourselves, fighting back, but also like really good solutions. And if there's something that you need, if there's a difficult conversation that you need to have, especially in regards to like authority or something like that, like this is the week to do it. When we do have Mars and Mercury in a trine, this is actually generally has a tendency, it can be quite positive, and it allows us to communicate positively, effectively, and with confidence. When we have Mars and Mercury in the trine, we generally have a greater level of self-confidence and like personal power that we are presenting ourselves with. And as a result of that, we are less likely to be defensive. We're less likely to be met with resistance by others, because they're sort of picking up on this like confidence that we are exuding, whether or not we even mean to. And as a result of that, there's a level of respect, and there's a likelihood of our needs or our desires or whatever we are asserting ourselves in terms of being met or being well received when we have the Mars trining the Mercury energy. Not so much for the square, but for the trine, there's a facilitation and an ease between our personal self-assertion and how we're communicating. So this is a good week. The last week of February is a good week to ask for what you need to assert yourselves in conversation in some type of a way, to ask for a raise or a promotion, or to, give your idea about something, pitch an idea. Like, it is likely to be more well received, and you're likely to just be holding a greater level of like personal power, self-empowerment in the way that you're communicating and interacting with others this 4th week with this dynamic playing out. Now, again, like I said, it could also be like some very just fiery, aggressive stuff going on as well. But it is the trine, so we are looking at this from a positive perspective. Moving through this last week, this is when we have this really interesting aspect coming into effect. This Venus, Jupiter, Chiron conjunction. Building into, this is actually not going to be happening until March. We have a lot going on in the month of March, but this is kind of like a big deal to me. Venus rules, the heart, relationships, finances, our preferences, value, worth. Chiron rules, it's the wounded healer, teacher, master archetype. It rules our wounding. It rules our ability to transcend our states of victimhood into states of self-mastery, and essentially go through an inner alchemization process called the hero's journey, where we release ourselves from cycles of trauma of the past. It's how humanity essentially like evolves on a conscious level, is through dealing with the Chiron energy, the Chiron archetype, and going through these hero's journey processes. And so it's going to, when we're dealing with Chiron, a lot of times that brings up issues of wounding and trauma, especially past trauma, past wounding, childhood wounding and trauma specifically, as that is usually what sets us up on these hero's journey, this journey of self-discovery and overcoming essentially our experiences of the past and releasing ourselves from cycles of, that type of experience. But Chiron also rules wealth, like true wealth and true value, because that is associated with what we gain going through the Chiron experience and dealing with the Chiron archetype, the mastery that we gain is essentially associated with some of the greatest wealth that is in this experience. So Chiron has a lot to do with value, wealth, resources, and of course that translates into money and financial stuff in our world today. And Venus also has to do with that. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. I would expect you guys, first of all, this is indicating some type of like major or profound or significant or just like supersized heart healing energy. And it's going to have to do with self-worth. It's going to have to do with internalized value, self-love. Remember, we also have Uranus in the sign of Taurus right now, ruled by Venus, which is really trying to show us or awaken us to the truth of our own value, the truth of our own potential, the resources within, and the worth and the value that that represents. So we're kind of getting hit by it on two fronts in this month of February, especially closing out the month of February, like I said, moving into the month of March. But some type of force coming through that is working to give us some type of healing in regards to how we relate to ourselves and others in terms of our own internal value, what we value. And also though, it will be interesting to see what happens with like financial markets, economies, resources, stuff like that as this energy comes into effect. Now, it is happening in the sign of Aries, which is the sign of the self. So I do feel like, this is likely to be hitting us on a more personalized level in terms of like our own personal healing journey and what we are personally recovering from and our own personal issues with our own relationship to ourselves and our own self-worth and our own value and how that has played into the various experiences that we are graduating, moving on from now. But it could also very much have to do with like actual money, actual markets, actual financial situations, actual also relationships. This could have a lot to do with relationship dynamics and wounding in relationships and what is needed to heal in that regard as well. But there's just likely to be major financial themes, relationship themes, self-love themes, coming up in a way that is leading to some type of an expansion or some type of healing. So this is a very healing energy that we are concluding the month of February. We're moving into it, but like I said, in the month of March, this is when this activation is going to come exact as well, and we're going to have a lot to talk about as we get into that month also. But that is sort of like the breakdown of the energy as it's playing out throughout this month of February. Like I said, we're starting this first week of February in this Uranus energy, Sun square Uranus. We also have Venus squaring Mars. This is shakeups and changes in relationship dynamics. This is breaking through restrictions. Then we move into the Pluto Mercury energy, figuring some things out and the changes that produces within us. And then we move into this Venus, Neptune, Sun, Saturn energy, this manifestation period, this period about, honing in on what it is that our heart truly desires and simultaneously like what we need to do to actually make that happen in our real lives. And hopefully, we're not getting too caught in one end of the spectrum or the other. Then moving into, this last week, we've got this Mars Mercury emphasis firing us up again, inspiring us, lighting the fire again, moving into the Jupiter, Venus Chiron alignment that is going to carry us into the month of March. This heart healing energy, this soul healing energy, this emphasis on worth, value, and opening our eyes, showing us the truth. Jupiter also rules truth, so it's definitely like showing us the truth about something along these lines: love, money, inner child, healing, value, worth. That's the dynamics, that's the emphasis, that's the indications playing out. So that's what it's looking like. In terms of just the overall summary, just to say it again in a little bit of a different way, we start out the month in this Sun square Uranus energy with a little bit of this Mars, well, not a little bit, but we have Mars Venus square as well. Not as significant in terms of probably what we're going to experience, but definitely still there. This is indicating relational changes happening. The people we are dealing with, specifically partnerships, work relationships, work dynamics, especially in regards to love and money. And like I said, like work relationships, partnerships, likely to change suddenly. Abrupt change in partnerships, the desire for something new and different. That's another thing, Uranus square the sun. This creates an inherent desire within us to do something new. And it's this force that is trying to bring us back to life as well. Remember, this full moon in Leo ruled by the sun, the life force energy, where we feel alive, where we celebrate life, where we play, how we play, romance, love, open-heartedness, creativity, reinvigorated, reinstilled. Where are we not experiencing that, and why? And what do we need to do in order to feel more alive in our own experience? There could be a lot of fears coming up, you guys. I will say throughout the course of this month, there could be a lot of fears about if we're going to be able to do it, if we're going to be able to take this new opportunity and really turn our lives around for ourselves, if we are going to be able to come kind of like out of the dark and move towards establishing a new foundation for ourselves that is thriving and that is abundant. We could really be stressing that a lot, especially like to start the month and as a result of some of the changes that might happen. But we need to not lose faith, because honestly, where this is going is a place of fulfillment, like materially and emotionally and financially. We just need to surrender to the process and try not to have fears, try not to, dwell on our worries. We don't want to feed our fears and our worries and our insecurities in this black moon energy, this black moon and Leo energy that may have us questioning, whether or not we are actually truly worthy or whether or not we're truly deserving of the beautiful life that we want to create for ourselves. But, we are. And over the course of this month, I feel like we are going to go through a process, especially as we get towards this Venus, Chiron, Jupiter conjunction, that is really going to be healing maybe a lot of the root issues that could be kicking up this insecurity and this fear about whether we're actually going to be able to take these opportunities and make something of them as we go throughout the course of this month. But, the desire for something new and different is likely to be kicking itself up. It's probably going to be a very unusual beginning to this month. Nervous tension and anxiety could be very, very high. The full moon in Leo about exposing hidden tensions in relationships and fears that have kept us back from experiencing true joy and true love. Again, where have we been surrendering aspects of ourselves to receive love because we feel like if we are authentic and real about things that we might lose relationships or partnerships or people in our lives generally. So that might be a theme again that is coming up in this energy. Romance, relationships, children, inner child issues, wounded inner child issues could come up with this as well, having light shown on them in this full moon in Leo. This could also be, along the lines of us wanting to free ourselves and wanting to experience something new and different in this Uranus energy with the sun, the moon, the full moon itself also in the T-square with Uranus. It could be this desire to play and to celebrate life and to just really feel alive again and to feel reinvigorated, driving and motivating some of the changes that are going on right now. You know what I mean? It might be us coming to a point where we feel like we need to really sort of break ourselves out of the status quo in order to find something that is lighting us up and making us feel alive inside. But relationship, financial, creativity themes to start the month and carrying us through all month long. The second week is a very powerful week of this mental energy with the conjunction between Mercury and Pluto coming in. Focus on power, focus on change. Could be coming to some very powerful conclusions that do change or transform things for us in one way or another throughout this second week. Mental shifts, obsessive thoughts, more like obsessive compulsive thoughts or behavior about stuff, really trying to figure something out, really focused in on something. Secretive stuff could be going on too. Powerful meetings and conversations. There could also be a strong news emphasis on people in power, authority, government, leadership, things that have been going behind the scenes, secrets revealed. All this type of stuff could also be coming out in the headlines, social media, news with Mercury, Pluto, Mercury ruling those things. Pluto in the very end of Capricorn. This is powerful people in charge, and with the Mercury Pluto conjunction, thinking about that, getting a glimpse into that world sort of, and that could be just something that we are getting that we are seeing in the headlines, like I said, in the news, in the information. Moving into week 3, we have this very polarized energy, the Neptune Saturn components and dynamics of things. There is this way to balance them out though, like I said, and that is through this translating our dreams into reality, really focusing in and knowing what it is that our heart truly desires, but then coming up with a plan and a strategy to actually make it happen, not getting caught in the invisible world of dreams and fantasies, but taking what we find there and extracting it and applying it to the world that is manifest around us. This manifestation window to channel dreams into reality, but it could, like I said, have us feeling a bit pulled back and forth in the energy this week. It could be a bit of a more lower physical energy, but there's probably like a drive to accomplish something or to get something done, or if we're not doing that, to really like complete some type of, like I keep saying, you know, any type of artistic or creative endeavors, this week was made for that, this third week of February. We also have a lot of shifting vibes going on this third week. The sun will be moving into Pisces, Venus will be moving into Aries. This is like, on one hand, you know, bring us to a point where we are ready, we are done, we are moving on from something, but we're also like really ready to start moving in a new direction, start something new. And then the fourth week, this is this mentally energizing force coming through, great for conquering challenges, asserting ourselves productively, good for difficult conversations, getting things done, accomplishing tasks. We do want to make sure that we are thinking right before we are speaking and acting, but then as we move through the end of the week and this Venus, Jupiter, Chiron conjunction begins to come into formation, very healing energy for relationship dynamics, finances. Old wounds and traumas could be triggered in this energy, but we are actively engaging in this relational healing process. The actions that we take this week will have a positive outcome. Think about it. Venus, Jupiter, Chiron in alignment in the sign of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, who starts in the trine to Mercury this week, Mercury ruling Mars. It just creates the situation where it's like what we're learning, what we're talking about, the conversations that we're having, the interactions that we're having with others is somehow creating this feedback loop that is leading to this healing through us discovering the self-worth within us or something along those lines. But inner child, relationships, personal self-worth, self-love issues stemming from childhood trauma, most likely, like soul healing, heart healing, financial stuff could be positive. This is going to be good. This is going to be good for love and money, pretty much any way you slice it, although, you know, could be bringing up some issues as well because Chiron does trigger our wounds, but it's for the purpose of healing. But there's definitely going to be an emphasis on value-based, financial-based things this last week of February. So that's what we're looking at, you guys. That's what I have to say about this month that is unfolding before us. A lot happening, of course. Like I said, we are in this process of acceleration and forward movement towards personal growth and activating our destiny, coming into our potential, starting something new, making something happen for ourselves that is a reflection of like our true purpose. We are finding our purpose and we're moving towards it. Universe is supporting us. Very healing month, very regenerative month. We are likely to find out a lot of things that have a very powerful impact on us. To start the month, things could definitely be a bit shaky. Like I said, there is this sense of nervous energy or anxiety. It may have us up a bit at night, wondering how things are going to come together and whether or not we're going to be able to take this opportunity and flip our situation around. But we need to not question the plan that's unfolding right now. Like this process is leading to some type of putting us in some type of better position, especially in terms of family dynamics, in terms of emotional well-being, emotional fulfillment, feeling just sort of a sense of wholeness and like abundance internally and externally as well. Which again comes back to this Jupiter-Venus-Chiron alignment that we're moving towards throughout the course of the month that is going to be carrying us into next month. So we're rediscovering, you guys, we're rediscovering something of value throughout the various things that play out throughout the course of this month. And I do feel that we will be feeling in a significantly better place when we enter the month of March than maybe we do when we are entering the month of February and we've got this Sun-Uranus square coming, because that really is just one of the main aspects in all of astrology that is going to disrupt some comfort zones and throw some things up in the air. But we're moving in a good direction, and we just can't get caught in worries, you guys. We just need to trust that things are unfolding for us and that everything that is happening for us and not against us. The universe is bringing things together in a way so that our growth can be supported moving forward. We may not be able to see how that's the case, but this energy is about breaking through resistance. Anywhere that we have been attached to something or aligned with something or living an experience that is not promoting our growth in alignment with our true purpose right now, as we are transitioning into the age of Aquarius. And this process of self-actualization and self-growth is necessary in order to make this collective transition happen. You know, this is what it's coming down to. This is what is driving things. And as long as we are working with universe, you guys, things are going to end up working out so much better than we could have ever thought, ever anticipated, ever imagined. And we have the power to co-create this month. I mean, we always do, but we are being given a special window this month to ensure, if we use the energy right, that we are definitely heading in the right direction. So that's what I have to say, you guys. Let's grab a synchronicity card now just to get a piece of advice from God, Spirit, Universe to keep in mind as we go throughout the course of this entire month. What would be a good mantra for us? What do we need to know? And it says, turn off the world. Folly is joy to him destitute of wisdom. Proverbs 15:21. Looking for love in all the wrong places. Looking for joy in externals. Finding joy in lurid drama, hate-filled music, and other synthetic entertainment. You will find joy within yourself. Turn off the noise and listen to the voice within. Search for wisdom within. Be happy with yourself inside, and you will find joy. What does this remind you of, you guys, as I'm reading this? To me, it reminds me so much of the Black Moon in Leo themes and our full moon in Leo that we have unfolding this month that I was talking about. And, you know, really like questioning what it is that may be blocking us from truly experiencing like real joy or real love, because that is what the Leo energy seeks to do and experience. It's what makes us truly feel alive and where we can truly create from that place. What makes us shine, what makes us grow, what lights us up inside. And, you know, like this, exactly like this card says, like looking for joy in the externals. It's exactly what I was saying about this Black Moon and Leo energy. What do we sacrifice to get a more surface level value of love or appreciation or recognition that is actually detaching us or keeping us distanced from what truly would bring us real joy and real love? Looking for joy in externals, finding joy in lurid drama, hate-filled music, and other synthetic entertainment, like reaching for it externally, that's not what's going to do it. And I feel like that is what this cycle is going to teach us as well, with this Black Moon energy and Leo emphasize. Turn off the noise and listen to the voice within. That would be that Aquarius energy. What is authentic? What is real? What is it that really truly fills me up on the inside? Search for your wisdom within. Be happy with yourself inside, and you will find joy. And this also reminds me of Venus, Jupiter, Chiron in conjunction as well. I do feel like, you guys, that the Black Moon issues, the Leo Black Moon issues that may come up for us as we are beginning the month, moving through this full moon period, I feel like as we get to the end of the month and move into March, when we have this alignment, Venus, Jupiter, Chiron, I feel like we're going to get a healing actually for a lot of the triggers that may be playing out to start this month. So seems like quite a relevant synchronicity message. Turn off the world. Get centered internally as well. And again, this is also reminding me of the Venus, Neptune, Sun, Saturn energy. You know, aligning with the truth of our ideals and like what, you know, what really makes our heart sing, like our true version of love in alignment with like the truth of our heart, and then figuring out, you know, what we need to do to make that a part of our actual world. And anyways, that's what I have to say, you guys. Message, and that's the advice for this coming next couple weeks as well, this month of February. So that's where we're at. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you think they would like this kind of astrology content as well. Leave me comments. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your comments. I love knowing how this energy is affecting you. So thank you so much. much for that. And once again, thank each and every one of you so much for being here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, an Instagram, and some other social media stuff in my description box below. I write a blog that I post on Facebook. I also post like shorts and stuff over there as well if you're into any of that. Other than that, you guys, come back with me tomorrow. We will start getting into our February dailies, and we are actually going to be talking about a grand trine in water that we have playing out tomorrow between the moon, Venus, and the south node. So more release is coming at us, you guys, but this in the context of the sun building into square with Uranus. So I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then. Have a beautiful day, and until next time, bye guys.